Thank you for coming here on a Saturday morning, which is irresistibly a time when you want to be with your family and sort of stretch your legs and read the newspaper and enjoy the morning. Thank you for giving up all that and then coming here to make this event successful, because a lot of effort has gone into putting together this program. And the Institute of Directors is very grateful to all of you who are here. All of you are aware of the tragedy that has struck our forces, and it is absolutely heart-wrenching that so many valiant soldiers have been killed in a dastardly act of cowardice. There is nothing much we can do except to feel for the families and feel for the children who have been orphaned, and feel for all the mothers, and feel for all the parents who have lost their sons. It is befitting that all of us stand up and pray to God to bestow peace on the departed soldiers and give strength to the family of the soldiers who have martyred themselves. Thank you. Your phones on silent mode if you need to keep track of what's happening. Otherwise, you can put it on flight mode, believing that you are on a flight. Thank you. We have a very well thought out program in form of 4 sessions, and we are extremely happy to have Mr. Deepak Kota, the Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat Earth Overs Limited. Mr. Deepak Kota has been a great patron of Institute of Directors and has encouraged whatever IOD Bangalore has undertaken. And despite his busy schedule as a CMD's position he has made it possible to be with us here. And we are extremely grateful, Mr. Deepak Kota, for being here with us. We are very grateful. We also have the Director General of IOD Mumbai, Mr. Vikas Walia, who has flown in to be with us on this occasion. And we look forward to collaborating with you and doing some joint programs in the days to come. Because we feel a little isolated when great things happen in Bombay and Delhi. So hopefully you will change that. Thank you. This IOD Bangalore is driven by the kind of energy that Arun has, Arun Balakrishnan. And I can't tell you how he has been a guiding force behind IOD, how he makes us all reach out and get things done and make possible these kind of events. And particularly the master class, which is quite well received, and it is full of content, and we are constantly looking at the opportunity to revise the content, because days are changing, laws are changing, and the kind of responsibilities associated with directors is changing. So there has to be kind of a change in the curriculum, which we are seriously looking at. But thank you, Arun, for being the guiding force at IOD Bangalore, and we owe a lot to you. Thank you very much. What we propose to do is to invite Arun to deliver his welcome address, followed by a short address by Mr. Vikas Walia, the Director General IOD Mumbai. And then, of course, we would be very eager to listen to the special address by Mr. Deepak Kota. May I now request Mr. Arun Balakrishnan to please escort Mr. Deepak Kota to the dais, and may I request Mr. Vikas Walia and Brigadier Rajiv Kapoor to please come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier Rajiv Kapoor is right now a serving brigadier, but he is the designate who will be heading the IOD initiatives in Bangalore, and he will very soon be taking charge of the IOD stewardship. So, Brigadier Rajiv Kapoor, it is for you. May I, Arun, please, welcome.
Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. In a way, it's a very pleasant surprise that, we said we'll start at 10, and almost 90% of the delegates are here at 9:30, 9:40. So we said we can't be wasting people's time for a formal start as published. So that's why we have started 15 minutes earlier. And that also gives us an opportunity to say a little more, give some of the speakers a little more time as well. I don't know if they want to look forward to that. But all the same, I'm very grateful to each one of you for having come here on time. Because normally in Bangalore, this is a big issue. We start at 10, we actually start at 10:15 or 10:30 because of traffic issues and whole range of problems. Right. So, my role is to welcome you on for this Directors Conclave. And I extend a very hearty welcome to each one of you, each one of the delegates. I think we personally know each other because a good number of you have already attended the master class where I have also been taking one session. So we have some kind of thing in common as far as meeting each other today is concerned. Okay. Now, as far as IOD's activities are concerned, like the one we have organized this program today, we have been organizing similar kind of program, something like probably 3 to 4 times a year. Once in 3-4 months, that kind of thing. We could have organized it more often, but then the issue is that it will become too much really. Okay. To draw you all out from a very comfortable Saturday and to make you come and sit here the whole day, I think these kind of programs also need to be spaced out a little. Okay. So what is it that we offer to you in these programs? Okay. We have eminent speakers, eminent in the sense people with great experience. It's not that their names and photos appear in the newspapers every day that they are eminent. These are people who are hardcore professionals and who have a whole range of experience in various kinds of activities related to management. Okay. Managing large companies, managing startups, okay. Managing public sector units, okay. And experience in dealing with the government, dealing with large associations like FICCI and those kind of associations. So they bring in a lot of knowledge. For most of us who are actually in a job, to find time to keep on understanding and studying what is the latest which is happening in terms of statutes, changes in the Companies Act, what the SEBI is doing, is an uphill task. So we felt that once in a way, 3-4 months, we gathered like this, and we have eminent speakers who talk about their experience in dealing with all these subjects. And that will help each one of us to improve the quality of work that we do. Okay. So this broadly is the aim. And we will be having more of these kind of programs, probably in the next 4-5 months. You can expect a similar program again. I should also welcome all the people on the stage. I think this press has already done the introduction, so I don't want to repeat it again. Excepting to say that we are very happy to have Deepak Kota here as our chief guest today, as a keynote speaker, so to say. We have a very long relationship. We have been into the thick and thin of management, thick and thin of challenges, etc. in a company. We both worked together sometime earlier. And Deepak is today the chairman and managing director of Bharat Earth Movers Limited, one of the premier organizations in the city of Bangalore. Whenever somebody says Bangalore, it is BEML really. Okay. And BEML is a lot into defense production. Okay, so probably he will tell us more about that when he speaks. Apart from his role as a CEO, he has done tremendous amount of work in HR management in HPCL where we were there together. And some of them has been very, some of these initiatives, like organizational transformation which has happened in HPCL, is something, it's almost like a case study. Actually, it's a case study in Harvard Business School. Okay. So there's a lot of commonality for us, and there's a lot of things to be proud of, a lot of experience there and things like that. So I'm so happy that you are here. All of us read the pink newspapers, the Economic Times, the Business Standards, and all kinds of financial newspapers. And we are amazed at the kind of things which are happening. And the churn is very high as far as business is concerned. Okay, the biggest one has been, of course, the GST, which, though there are complaints about it, but it has brought together more organizations in the tax net. Okay, and this is what is required. The government needs really tax and uniform system of tax across the country. So that has come in, and that has brought in a very sea change as far as Indian administration is concerned. But a more interesting thing which started sometime a little while ago, a year or so ago, is this RBI's one-day default rule. I've heard about RBI's one-day default rule, which simply means that corporates, if they delay repaying what is due to the banks, even by 1 day, they will start getting penalized. Earlier what used to happen is that if I take a loan of 100 rupees, it's my problem. But if I take a loan of 1,000 crores, it becomes a bank's problem. Okay. Now that has changed. With the simple two initiatives of the government, one is the RBI's one-day default rule, saying that even if you default by a single day, you go into another system which I just talked about. Okay. So the parts has changed from the creditors, from the debtors to the creditors. Okay. So nobody can borrow money, which you must be reading in the paper, somebody borrowed 30,000 crores, 40,000 crores and is not really bothered about it. Today, all of them are literally running for their life. Okay. So that is a sea change. What is the advantage of this? Is that you and I invest money in debt funds, mutual funds, X and Y and Z. And you find that suddenly there is a default in terms of bonds, in terms of borrowings. And all the savings which are there in the mutual funds or debt funds is going astray. The net asset value of these are coming down very drastically because of that. Now with this toughness which the government has showed, I think more of that will be streamlined. Connected to this RBI one-day rule is the IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Okay. This again has caused tremors in the corporate world. Good in a way, because that's bringing in discipline. Nobody can, borrow money and fool the banks or fool any other institutions for that matter. And already big names are in the net. SR, Bhushan, Lanco, Bonnet Ispat, the whole big list of names who are there, 20 names to be precise, who are suddenly, losing the business that they built. Simply because they thought they could get away with everything. Okay. Okay, then there is the NCLT, where people who default go and they give their verdict on what will be happening. Then there is the other issue of malfeasance of corporates. We heard about things about ICICI, ILFS, Z, Jet Airways, Kingfisher, the whole range of them. People just decide to cheat. That's all. Okay, today, nobody cares really who they are, but if they cheat, they go behind bars kind of thing. And I think that is a good attitude to take. The rule of law needs to be in place. Okay. The other side of the churn is that caused by competition, severe competition, which is good in a way, but again it hurts the economy in a way. A typical example is the airlines. Okay. We have one large airline, Indigo for that matter, and because of their pricing policies and probably good strategic management, you can't blame them for that, you have all the competition suffering really. Okay. Now interestingly in this case what has happened is the government has intervened and privately, I believe is what I heard, privately called all the airlines and said, look, you guys don't fight with each other, you don't want all of you going down, this country needs it. No, air travel to keep the country together. So have a common kind of pricing so that people don't go under. I don't know if this is the right thing or not in an open capitalist system, it's a different matter, but this is what has happened, I heard. Okay. The other big competitive activity which is taking place is Jio. This is Jio versus the rest. Okay, and all of them are in huge debt. I don't know if it's the right thing to do enough that kind of cutthroat pricing to happen. There are rules against it, but we have to see. Because we don't want Airtel and India, Vodafone and others to go under. Okay, we need competition there, otherwise if somebody becomes number one with 70 to 80% market share, then he'll start raising his prices. So capitalism without competition is a very dangerous kind of thing. Okay. So that's what it is. So what do we do about it is a question. One I would say is that there should be professionalism in the system. Okay. Okay. When I say professionalism, what do I mean by it? You may ask. Professionalism is the collective of professionals in a system or in a country. And what is professionalism? I got this definition very recently in another workshop which I attended. According to this gentleman, he says professionalism is for an individual to work unsupervised. He's on his own. You give him the job, he will do it. There's no supervision required. That's requirement number one. Second is that he knows the quality of work that he has done. Which means he certifies completion of his own work. It's a kind of self-audit. Like, a typical example is that we have a speaker here. Like the press just spoke to you. Okay? Now, in his heart of hearts, he should know that he has done his best. Okay? And that is what is called the certified completion of work. This is a kind of a self-audit. So, hello. Please. You can introduce it. And the third part of it, one is working unsupervised, second is the self-audit or certified completion of work, and third part is integrity. Because without integrity, there is no professionalism. Okay, this is one answer to all the problems that we are facing. The second part is that for each one of us, whether it's IOD or the companies that you work, or companies that have worked, etc., is to create a very strong brand, which, again, I think I should give the definition of the word brand. Brand or branding has got many definitions. But one I thought was very interesting, which I heard through friends, it's not my own definition, is that brand is actually externalizing of value created internally. That is externalizing value to the outsiders, created internally. That means to have a good brand, you have to be absolutely right in terms of your values, processes, SOPs, a whole range of things internally. Okay, this is another thing which is very, very important. Okay? And the third thing, in my opinion, is what is called infrastructure. Not so much in the conventional word of infrastructure like roads and things like that, or rail and things like that, but an infrastructure which is defined for corporate purposes, which normally consists of three parts. Okay? The first part I would call it emotional. Okay? Infrastructure, emotional as an infrastructure. Like, for example, startups. You're going to have a session on startups. How do startups start? It's a group of people, classmates getting together, which is the biggest story that you always hear. 5 IIT students or 5 students from Bangalore Engineering College join together to form a startup. It is an emotional bonding on which they start. That is part of the first level of infrastructure. And as they go further, the second part of infrastructure comes, which is the intellectual capital, the research that they've done, the new people that they bring into the system. Okay? And the number from a group of 2 or 3 who started it will become 10 or 15 or 20 or 100. Okay? Now, when intellectual part of it comes into the system, the first part, emotional, that bonding which is there in emotional, that bonding, the context of the bonding and the quality of the bonding and the nature of the bonding will change. So that is where we feel that entrepreneurs have to be careful about that part of it. And the third one is the physical part of it. You talk about it. It's an office to sit in, IT infrastructure and XYZ. So this is what is meant by infrastructure. And these are the three things which we feel that an organization should have if we have to progress very smoothly or as smoothly as permissible in a situation like this which we have in the country today. Okay? So this broadly is what I had to say to start with as an intellectual stimulation to all of you. Right. And I may now invite Press to proceed further with the day's work. Thank you very much. We are privileged to have
Ma'am Jija Harisingh here. Thank you very much for making it possible to attend this function. And ladies and gentlemen, not that she requires any introduction, but let me say that Jija Harisingh in a sense was Arun's predecessor in IOD, besides being an important functionary of the police, the DG of police. And we are extremely happy that you are here with us. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. As formalities go, may I request Arun to please present the